Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a Chief Analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is Daily Analytical Report. So, new week, new occasions, new good trading setups, hopefully. Well, I was scanning market obviously for the past 2 days. Unfortunately, I don't see any interesting setups, like proper trading signals. But I think they will come, they will eventually come, because we do have a few interesting sideways trends. They should come to an end, they should finish with a proper trading signal. So let me, first obviously we start with calendar. We start with a little bit of fundamental analysis. As you can see, we had on Tuesday, during the Asian session, we had press conference and interest rate decision and monetary policy statement. So a few highlights from that, from speech from Mr. Kuroda from Bank of Japan. He says that Japanese economy continue growing above potential, which apparently is very good, right? He said that he sees downside risk to prices as larger will adjust policy as required to maintain momentum towards 2% inflation target. He says that they need to maintain strong monetary easing even though economy growing because prices are still weak. He said that he'll make an appropriate judgment in ETF purchases in future, taking into account economy prices at that time. He said that Bank of Japan wants to continue monetary easing firmly for CPI 2% goal. No need to change the 2% goal. No need to change joint statement. These are the most important highlights from this statement, from the press conference from Mr. Kuroda, Bank of England. Bank of Japan, obviously, governor. Let's look on the calendar. Well, obviously, this is one thing. On January 20th, we got information about the shutdown of US government because Senate failed to pass the new budget. 15 hours ago, we found out that Senate reached the deal to end this shutdown. Well, both informations are positive for stocks, as we know. Bad news is good news. Good news is good news. That's the mantra for the stocks recently, and these are like the two most important events now. So statement from Bank of Japan and a government shutdown in the US. Let's go through the calendar. Still to come. Not much, just a bit of data from Eurozone, but nothing major, not tier 1 data. On Wednesday, we can say that it's a PMIs day. We'll have PMIs from Germany, Eurozone, we'll have PMIs from US, so that will be those will be the most important events. All eyes are on ECB though on Thursday, interest rate decision, policy statement, press conference. That definitely will be the event to watch. along with retail sales from Canada, but that's only for traders on Canadian dollar. On Friday, monetary policy meeting minutes from Bank of Japan, GDP from US, and speech from Mark Carney, but also CPIs from Canada will be important. Durable good orders will be important. This is the data that very often can cause some interesting movements on the market, so we should definitely keep our eyes on it. Okay, that being said, let's look on the charts now. We will start with euro dollar. I told you that there are that we don't have many like trading signals because many instruments are in sideways trends, and I meant one of those instruments is euro dollar, which had great respect for the correction trend correction patterns, flag, 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 flag. After they broke ultra important resistance, this yellow color, you see the importance of this level, lows from 2012, highs from 2017. Then this level got broken, and after the breakout of this area, the price is now the price created a symmetric triangle pattern, which can do both actually. That can be trend correction pattern, that can be trend continuation pattern. We're about to see the breakout. Look, the volatility in the past few days is very low. It's like 15 pips. So we should see a reversal finally. Not reversal, the breakout. I mean breakout, right? As with triangles, well, usually they should be like a trend continuation patterns, but they can do both actually, so we shouldn't put too much attention on the possible upswing here, because downswing and breakout of the lower line of this pattern is also probable, with the nice comeback towards 120.80 here. That would be a nice support. So, how to trade it? In case of a breakout of the lower line of the triangle, but proper breakout with price closing below that area, not just price touching this area, but proper breakout can lead us to 128.20.80, where you can think about opening a long position if you will see obviously a bullish setup. So here, in case of a breakout of the upper line, we should see another bullish wave here. American dollar to Japanese yen, that's a long term, but let me show you a bit short term here, because that's another instrument where we do have the sideways trend. That's a symmetric triangle pattern. So it can result with a breakout of the upper line, which should trigger a buy signal. So price getting here should trigger us a buy signal with the potential target here on the yellow area, and breakout of the lower line can trigger us a sell signal, and the potential target for the sell signal is pretty amazing because it's 220 pips lows from September. Right, so that's the situation on American dollar to Japanese yen. I think that the breakout here, well, that definitely breakout of those lows should lead us to this support, right? And as for the other side, we should get like 70 pips movement, which is still right. The thing is that you need to focus on the risk to reward ratio. If the risk to reward ratio is decent, and in this case will be decent because stop loss will be smaller, you can open this position. Bitcoin. I love how the price made this impulse and this one as well, and they bounced exactly on the spot. So that was a nice buying opportunity, but rather short term. That was rather like a dead cat bounce, right? Here, dead cat bounce, aiming horizontal resistance to the breakout support. It was a support here. It's still a resistance. So area like around $11,000 to $11,200 for one Bitcoin. This yellow area is a resistance. Also, the price touched mid-term downtrend line here, here, here. So this purple line is now a legitimate downtrend line, and as long as we stay below the downtrend line, as long as we stay below the horizontal resistance, the sentiment is negative. Breakout of the yellow area should trigger us a buy signal, and breakout of the lows from 17th of January should trigger us a sell signal, because yes, that's quite a decent support area. Maybe we can be even more accurate here. Breakout of the green area, sell signal. Breakout of the yellow area, buy signal. That's my sentiment towards Bitcoin. Now FTSE. On FTSE I was hoping for a bigger reversal, but again, bad news, good news, good news, bad news. No. Bad news is a good news. Good news is a good news for stocks. So traders are pushing higher. There's not much of a willingness for a bigger correction or anything. So I was hoping for a reversal towards $7,600. It's probably ain't going to happen. As long as we stay above the red area, the sentiment towards FTSE is positive. Now gold. Gold, unfortunately, is in a sideways trend. We can check different time frames, but the situation will not change. As long as we are above the support, there is no sell signal. As long as we are below the resistance, there is no this resistance. There is no buy signal. In other words, breakout of the upper blue line triggers us a buy signal. Breakout of the purple line, purple area, triggers us a sell signal. Right, so breakout here opens us away to 1,300. And dollar index. Well, I was thinking that it will be a bit different after yesterday. Actually, after the beginning of the week from yesterday. Why is that? Because the price created two hammers. Well, this one is not a hammer, but it's still a candle with a long tail bouncing from support, showing that the support is relevant, and then a hammer here. So I was thinking that we should have a positive start of the week, and price should aim at least this purple line. As long as we stay above the blue area, this option is still in the game. This option is still positive. This option is still available, let's say like that. This option is still on the table. Next one, Canadian dollar to Japanese yen. So we have to adjust this line. There's a flag. We got a breakout of the lower line of the flag. it was a support. Then the support after the breakout was tested as a resistance. As we can see, this test is positive for sellers because we got a bounce from this. Apart from the flag, don't forget about this horizontal resistance. Breakout of the green line definitely opens us a way towards this lower line of the ascending triangle pattern, which actually in the long term is a positive pattern. So after the breakout of this, for example, we can expect a bounce from the lower line of the triangle. Next one, Australian dollar to American dollar. That's beautiful. Look at that. Horizontal resistance. The price touches this resistance with a shooting star candlestick. Shooting star, so a small body and a long tail. Price touches that area, bounces from it, breaks the short-term uptrend line and aims the, mid-term uptrend line and aims the long-term uptrend line. Apart from the uptrend line, there is a horizontal support here. Okay, as long as we stay above the, okay, let's change the color because we already have green here. Let's say purple. Yes, as long as we stay above the purple area, the sentiment is positive. Breakout of the purple area can send the price to the blue area, right? Which is an important long-term supported resistance. That can mean like a deeper correction here. But what I like here is the price meeting ultra important horizontal resistance. Price is meeting that with a shooting star, and we have a reaction. We have a bearish reaction, at least in the short term. Next one, American dollar to Singaporean dollar. That is very strong sell signal. It does not change much. The situation is not changing much here. There's still a strong sell signal, especially after the breakout of this green area. As you can see on a weekly chart, that 1, 2, 3 weeks, bearish weeks in a row. Now everything is ready for another one, right? So as far as you can see, we don't have like proper trading signals right now. We have to wait for most of them. Kiwi, New Zealand dollar to American dollar is having this, maybe you can say like a triple top formation or a wedge formation. The sentiment is still positive as long as we stay above the green line, but even the breakout of the green line for now should be just a correction. There will be no signals of a bigger reversal whatsoever. Euro to New Zealand dollar, I like it. I like the setup. That's an uptrend. Price making higher highs and higher lows. Here is the price making a head and shoulder formation, left shoulder, head and a right shoulder. We broke the neckline. After the breakout of the neckline, the price tests the neckline as the closest resistance. Here, this test is positive for sellers, and after testing this neckline as a resistance, the price aims lower. So that's a typical head and shoulder formation in play. We should get more from this when the price will break the uptrend line. When the price will break the uptrend line, we should get a movement towards here, like 400 pips, downswing towards the horizontal support. So, wait and see approach, I guess. We patiently should wait for this situation to develop. Euro to British pound, aimed horizontal support marked with a green color. Here, any bullish price, a candlestick pattern or technical formation will be a decent buy opportunity. Euro to Japanese yen, positive situation here, but also a sideways trend, rather boring sideways trend. We are waiting for the future developments. I think we can adjust this uptrend line like that. Actually, I'm gonna delete this instrument because there's not much of an interesting situation there. S&P 500, that's beautiful. Like in 1 year, in a few weeks, we made such a big upswing from October to December, right? In 1 month, in 3 weeks so far. That's pretty amazing. No comments on that. I don't know how to comment actually. The fact that the price is advancing higher almost every day in 2018, despite the government shutdown and weakness of the American dollar, etc. Right? That's just a mania. And I'm just wondering how long will it last. American dollar to Canadian dollar, horizontal resistance, horizontal support. As long as we stay in the sideways trend, sentiment is neutral. But I think sellers at the end of the day should win, and sellers should break this horizontal support. That's what I'm seeing here on American dollar to Canadian dollar. Euro to Swiss franc, false breakout here, but the price is still high. I don't want to say that as long as we stay below this area, the sentiment is negative, but there is no good trading setup here. WTI oil, that's interesting because the price was creating ascending triangle pattern, but in the same time, ascending triangle resistance here, support here, right? But in the same time, we got a head and shoulder formation, so left shoulder, head, and a right shoulder, and then the breakout of the neckline, which should trigger us a sell signal. Maybe not like a long-term reversal on oil, but at least a movement towards 62.1. That wouldn't be too much, right? But then the price reversed. Use the subtrend line for reversal. Let's adjust the subtrend line here. Right, let's adjust it like that. So now we are above the neckline, above the line connecting top of the head and the shoulder. So head and shoulder formation is of the table. This neckline is here, and what we can change here, do something like that. That was a flag. Breakout of the upper line of the flag triggers as a buy signal. Also, look at that, there's a beautiful horizontal support here. So oil has strong grounds to go higher and higher. American dollar to Swiss franc, sideways trends. You see let's check the hourly chart. And you can see that the price did not change much. Actually, we are on the same levels as 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22nd of January. Cable looks like, after the breakout of the green resistance, and green resistance seems pretty important because those were lows from February 2016. We already tested that once, But now we are ready to test that area for the second time. There is a pretty steep uptrend line, but the combination of those two, uptrend line and a horizontal support, can result with a bounce from this area. Next one, Australian dollar to Canadian dollar. Is having this inverse head and shoulder pattern, left shoulder, head and right shoulder. The price broke the neckline and now is trying to test that as a closest support. That's usually a decent trading opportunity. So once you will see a bounce from the green neckline, that will be a positive sign and an invitation to go long on Australian dollar to Canadian dollar. Once you will see a bullish price action here, that can be really a nice setup. Now DAX. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, especially that we are focusing on DAX for quite a long time. Especially after this hammer on uptrend line and lower line of the flag, we were telling you about positive sign and we got that, a positive sentiment. Then we broke the upper line of the wedge. The price broke the upper line of the wedge, reversed as that resistance as a support and now made new highs. Driven obviously by the global optimism on the market. So optimism is high towards stocks and it can be reflected in the price of DAX. DAX, which was moving very technically, yeah, that's just patience wins. Patience wins. This support got eventually defended and the price made new highs. New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar. Here we do have a breakout of the horizontal resistance of the sideways trend, which opens us a buy signal, especially that we are above the uptrend line. We know that this price respects the trend continuation patterns, flag, upswing, sideways trend, upswing. So there's a buy signal on New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar. And now Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar. Which confirmed the resistance here, downtrend line. And now the price is aiming lower again. Maybe, well, still we can think about the head and shoulder pattern, but we need to adjust the neckline better. Yes, like that. It still can be considered as a head and shoulder pattern. So we were thinking that that's the shoulder. Here, but this may change and this can be shoulder, right? Left shoulder, that's a right, that's a left shoulder, that's a right shoulder, and obviously a head here. Support is adjusted to the new conditions, so it wasn't this one because that was a false breakout here, but head and shoulder formation has a horizontal support now. And patient traders will wait for the price to get there. And once the price will get there, we will have a significant, strong sell signal aiming, let's say, at least the green line. That can be quite a decent setup. In the meantime, probably we'll try to bounce here, but still, even if so, we should get at least 200 pips movement, which will be quite nice. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching daily analytical report. For more setups, trading occasions, visit our Twitter account and our website alpari.news. Thank you very much.